Diamond Wolf is my second round opponent. Let's see what kind of deck he's running. Some sort of robots deck. Play first here. So we'll side in our artifact destruction probably on game 2. I keep moving that up. I'm used to having it. My face used to be down here. Now it's up here. We'll keep this. This is fine. Good luck. Have fun. Minimize that so you can see my deck. Now you can actually see my deck. Isn't that nice? We've got enough resources to play the Filk Ape. It's not amazing, but hopefully this would be a pretty slow deck. I mean, we're playing against worker bot, some sort of worker bot deck. But he did win his first round, so, you know, gotta be aware. What's going down? We actually have enough ruby shards to play our Zakiir if we draw into it, which would also hose this deck because one of the Zakiir abilities destroys artifacts. It's like the only thing I have to really destroy artifacts besides the direct damage. So we'll see what happens. So we'll be sacking Immortal Tears for a ruby shard here. We draw one anyway, so we want to keep prioritizing ruby shards anyways, though. Just because Zakiir powers, a lot of the Zakiir powers run off of like how much ruby threshold you have. We'll play a wild here, but you know, the rest of the get a bunch of ruby and yep. Hopefully we won't flood too hard. We need to stop flooding at this point in the game. Hopefully that will be done flooding here. We've drawn 6 out of the 23 shards in the deck. Tower Hulk deck, huh? Okay. Okay, so add a construction counter, transform into Tower Hulk, and he gets +1/+1 for each construction counter. If there are 10 or more, he gets Sky Guard. And the Tower Hulk is 0/0. So basically it could be really massive. We're going to hold on to Rootfather because we can definitely cast it with what we've got in hand. There's no reason to cycle it. We're only 1 resource away from playing it. So there's no reason for us to cycle that. The Rootfather we've got gemmed for speed and then to deal direct damage as soon as it hits the table. So that's always seems like a good thing for us. The Filk Ape will actually turn that Tower Hulk back into a construction plans once he plays it. So that seems like, again, Filk Ape is kind of like going to shut down his whole deck, possibly. So that's enough that we can play the Rootfather now once we get to that turn. We have no other plays anyways right now, so we'll just pass the turn back. Filk Ape next turn seems pretty good. Not a very aggressive start. We're lucky that he's also not playing a very aggressive deck. He's probably playing the guy that buffs, or the guy that puts resources into play. I forget what his name is. He's going to use his tier right away. He's stuck on shards, which of course is good for us. He actually gets to finally play a worker bot here. Meanwhile, we're ramping on our side of the table. Plays a construction foreman to turn that into a little bit of a bigger robot for him. That's nice, I guess. But we're going to turn it back into a worker bot, so with the Filk Ape at the end of the turn, which will probably make him feel kind of bad. So dump our Filk Ape onto the table. And then just sit on the table on the board state. Again, I think that Filk Ape is really underplayed and underrepresented right now. I mean, obviously now he's got a worker bot instead of a. I mean, he's at a much worse board state now. He can, if he finishes his Tower Hulk, it doesn't matter because Filk Ape just reverts it back. I think it even comes into play with like it comes into play exhausted. So, I mean, at this point, Filk Ape kind of shuts off his whole deck, and then eventually I play Rootfather and just start pounding him in the face. Again, here's another situation where just Filk Ape just seems to be dominating the match. He plays that. I don't have to worry about any tricks here, so I can actually just swing through with Filk Ape. Not even worried about him doing stuff to him. There's another Filk Ape. Even if he kills this Filk Ape, I've got another one to fill his position. And eventually we'll be playing this Rootfather as well. Rootfather plus Boulder Toss is, you know, that's 16 damage by itself. So next turn we can actually play Rootfather, and then the following turn we can play the Boulder Toss. Yeah, the construction plans is going to be just way too slow for his deck to do very much of anything with them. There's a chance that instead of reverting it into plans, if it may change it back into a troop, and then at that point, because it's got 0 toughness, it may actually just kill it. So he's got a Crank Rocket, which won't matter that much to me. He can kill one of my Filk Apes, but not the other one. But he still has to get it online. That's going to take, what is it, 2 turns? He needs to have counters on it to get it online. It's a little bit too slow at this point. So we actually get to just play the Rootfather here. Actually, let's see. Yeah, we'll just play Rootfather here. Just play him out. Just dump him out there. Resolve. And swing through for tons and tons of damage. He's only got 1 resource, so we're pretty safe to do this swing. Looking pretty dire for Diamond Wolf right now. He has to chump block the Rootfather and the Filk Ape. Next turn I've got Boulder Toss to just finish. Some 2 resources on that to maybe kill one of my Filk Apes. He needs to kill these Filk Apes. He needs to take care of them because they're shutting off his whole deck. But I think he's just too slow. It's way too slow. He gets... Okay, this guy... Okay, put a Worker Bot... At the end of your turn, put a Worker Bot into play. So we'll have an extra Worker Bot, but Boulder Toss plus Rootfather is 8 damage to the face. So, yeah, it doesn't really do much. Alright, so we'll go ahead and side in our 2 Composts, and that's pretty much all we're going to side in against this right now. So we'll go back to our card manager and type in some gibberish up here. And Compost, that's it. That's all I really feel like I need in here. 2 Composts, and we'll get rid of... Probably get rid of the Boulder Toss. I'll get rid of 1 Boulder Toss and 1 Trick of the Light for those. So we'll put those back on the reserves there. Save the deck. So yeah, composting, and mine isn't either. I have a lot of build-up, but as long as I'm drawing shards, playing cards, I'm pretty good, you know. It's a yucky hand. We'll have to toss this back. We're gonna toss that back. We need at least 2 shards with the Rootfather. We're up a game. We'll keep this. This is pretty iffy, though. This is a pretty bad hand as well. A really slow Immortal Tears, so we'll give him a chance here. We do have a Scraptech Brawler, which will help ramp us into maybe Filk Ape or something like that. Unfortunately, we have to play a Ruby to get to it, so that actually will not allow us to play Filk Ape or Warrior. So we need to draw resources. That's really what we need here. We'll go with Wild, and then we'll pick up Ruby next turn with the Tears, I guess, or, well, the turn after that. This is a really slow hand, so looking really good for Diamond Wolf to do something, although if we play the Filk Ape again, it'll turn off his whole deck. So if we weren't up a game, I probably would have mulled to 5 on this hand, but because we're up a game and I don't want to give up too many resources, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so much better. Very lucky to draw into that resource there. We're going to go ahead and get our Ruby resource here just to save some time. We could have waited till our opponent's end step to do that, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. You can throw out our Warrior of Andronicus, which will put a lot of pressure on the table right off the bat. He could bolt it. If he's in Ruby, he's probably playing Bolt. If he kills it with Bolt, that's fine for me. Ingenious Engineer, okay. I've seen the deck that plays this plus Drows, but he doesn't have access to Drows because he doesn't have, whatever. He doesn't have set 1 cards. So I want to bury this guy to get to some of these bigger drops. It's going to take a while to get there. We'll just put Warrior out to just put some pressure on him. We can swing in with Warrior on our first, you know, before we go to, and then play things in our second main phase. If he blocks him, we can always buff him in response. If not, then we don't buff him, so we don't use that extra resource. It does cost 1 to buff the Warrior of Andronicus, so it's another one where, again, it's a 5/5 every turn when we have Filk Ape in play. Crackling Bolt's it, that's fine. I'd rather absorb a Crackling Bolt there. We may be taking 2 here, and that's fine. That's not a big deal. We gain health with this deck, so it's so neat because he attacks and then he unexhausts himself. It's pretty funny. So we'll be burying our Brawler here is what it looks like, maybe. Yeah, we actually bury the Brawler, and we can play Rootfather when he hits the table, so we won't actually cycle Rootfather here. Actually, I should have played Wrathwood Master Moss there. So big play mistake there. I should have played my Master Moss with the 4 resources in hand. But we'll see. So yeah, we get 2 more damage to the face here, and then Wrathwood Master Moss next turn. That's going to be hopefully somewhat difficult for him to deal with. Charge Hulk to get some resources, more worker bots, sure. Yeah, for some reason I just didn't see the Master Moss there. Cool thing is if we get 5 resources, we can swing with Master Moss, and then on the second main phase play the Filk Ape, and then get Master Moss right back. Seems pretty good. Oh, 2 Master Moss, okay. So, looking pretty good for us. I mean, Master Moss should hopefully just tie up the board state here, and then eventually we get to drop Rootfather because Scraptech Brawler hit the table. Zakiir is definitely much easier to play with set 1 cards because you get a lot more fixing. He's playing a lot of charges to get a lot of worker bots in play. I guess to finish all those plans that he has. He's got lots of plans. It's like Batman, you know? He's got plans. I think he can chump block for quite a while, but if he gives up, I don't think he might give up. He might give up his Charge Hulk here. That's fine for me. I'll take a Charge Hulk plus like some bots or whatever for a Master Moss. Eventually, I should be able to play Filk Ape and get it back anyways. I'll probably just take the damage or just chump. Okay, chump block. Play a Master Moss here. Next turn we get Rootfather. Yeah, Rootfather plus we'll have Scraptech Brawler that can swing, get blocked by Ingenious Engineer, so we probably won't swing with him, but yeah, more blockers, more worker bot blockers, holding me off for now. Recovery Specialist picks back up another worker bot, okay. He's got lots of worker bots, this guy. Lots of worker bots. I think there's something that turns them all into, like, war bots, which would be somewhat problematic for me. Draw Composting, I can kill a Charge Hulk and a worker bot. Seems pretty suboptimal. Ruby here. We can't play Zakiir. The rule with Zakiir is if you can play Zakiir, you play Zakiir. We've talked about that a little bit. Activate this. No, we don't want to activate. We want to play him. Play the Rootfather. Deal that damage right to the face. 8 damage to the face, and then we get to swing through it. Tons of other stuff. We actually have Filk Ape now back up for our Master Mosses. We won't swing through with Brawler. I won't just give him up. So we could probably chump block with a bunch of worker bots here. I mean, you can chump block all these guys, so you might as well. But eventually you'll run out of chump blockers. He hasn't drawn any of his plans cards. He may have sided them out because of the... Okay, so he's going to kill one of my Master Moss. He's going to kill both of my Master Moss, so... That's fine. I just Filk Ape next turn and get him back. I probably should have reordered those blockers a bit, but... Play Filk Ape next turn, we'll get them both back. We get to swing with our 8/8. And bring back his... Yep. Is it every time he... Oh, it's when he comes into play, right? I don't know, I'm not seeing a lot of, like, things that make me worried right now about this deck at all. I'm seeing a ton of worker bots, and it seems pretty bad. He can give up, like, his whole field to this Rootfather if he wants to kill it, I suppose. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and swing through here with just the Rootfather. So he could give up his Charge Hulk and both his Recovery Specialist and a Worker Bot if he wants to here. So let's go ahead and kill the Charge Hulk, a Recovery Specialist. Let's see, that's 2, 6, 7 will be that guy, so we'll kill that Worker Bot. Leave the other one up, that's fine. Okay, we'll play a Filk Ape second main phase. We'll bring back our Master Mosses. And basically we can just swing away with these Master Mosses, no problem now. He can't kill him. He's on top deck mode. I mean, this is not looking good for him. Debating on cycling this Rootfather at some point in time. Probably after I play the second Filk Ape. He's saying good games here. Alright, so I guess he might be thrown in the towel. Can't seem to get my main stuff out. Yeah. It's just most of his stuff is just so weak. Like Ingenious Engineer, Specialist, like his plans cards. I mean, I've seen about 12 or 13 cards out of his deck. I can't see anything that was a true threat except for Tower Hulk. And that's just not good enough.